Hey, what's up guys? This is Rob here. Welcome back to Rule of Two Review, where we put a positive spin on your gaming news. And today I'm going to discuss whether or not Nintendo is actually as gimmicky as some people want to say. Okay, so as you can see, you're watching some brand new, awesome Rayman Legends footage for the Wii U. Really been enjoying going back through that game. I've already got it basically completed, but I've just been... there's so much content for the game that even when you complete it, for anyone out there who hasn't played it or hasn't had a chance to complete it, there's just so much unlockable content that the game keeps throwing brand new things, and there's all these paintings that keep being added, these new speed runs and special challenge runs for all the game's actual maps and paintings that you go through that they add to all those levels once the game is done. It's crazy. There's just so much to do, so I've been going through it a lot lately, and it is an all but perfect game, my favorite platformer of all time. So I've just really been enjoying playing some more of that, capturing some more footage, and having some of that to show for you guys. Also, before I get too deep into the topic, I want to really quickly give a shout out to Gamers at Large, the network that recently invited me to join them. I made a video about it a couple of days ago discussing that and trying to promote the whole idea of the network and the channel and everything going on there. Been really honored to have been a part of it, and I just last night, the night before recording this, had a chance. I was invited to be on my first episode of the Gamers at Large podcast, hosted by the, as he calls himself, the illustrious Mizzy. So it was really cool to be a part of that whole thing. There were some fantastic guys. Terminator Juice was on there, and some other guys, Ken and Jay, and I can't remember the name of their actual channel, so I'm sorry, guys. But I'm going to link all of these folks below. You can also see the podcast, which I've posted earlier today as well, so you can go ahead and go back to listen to that. Really proud to have been a part of that. I want you guys to go check out the Gamers at Large network, subscribe to the channel. All that they do is post content and videos from all of the other YouTube providers who are part of the network, and it's all centered and focused around being positive about the gaming community and about gaming as a hobby. That's what it's about. None of the people who try to get real aggro and upset about certain kinds of topics. It's really just, we like gaming, these are the topics that are interesting to us, and this is how we're presenting it. So that's the kind of stuff you're going to find. I would like to think that most people who might be interested in my content and in Rule of Two Review would also appreciate that kind of positive aspect to gaming, and you're going to find it at Gamers at Large, and you're going to find it with these other YouTubers. So follow the links below to all the channels with everyone I was involved with last night. Thanks again for having me on with that podcast, guys, and now I'm going to go ahead and get on to the topic at hand. All right, well, this is another big one. This is kind of continuing the conversation from my last news video, discussing whether or not, how some people think that Nintendo might need to lose the gamepad for the Wii U to try to make it more appealing to some people or to make it more affordable. This is that sequel conversation I was referring to that really, kind of leads from that topic. Whether or not Nintendo is actually gimmicky, sorry, like some people want to say they are. This is a conversation for many, many years and for quite a few console cycles that people have been having because Nintendo introduces things like 3D technology. They introduce things like motion control gaming in the Wii Remote, and they introduce things like a tablet controller and motion sensing within that, as well as myriad other things. Let us not forget the Virtual Boy or the talk about the Vitality sensor, the Wii Fit board. Many other different random peripherals, and honestly, for anyone old enough to have remembered this, you can go back to the 8 and 16-bit days with things like the Super Scope and the, whatever that running pad is for the track and field game. I think the Power Pad? Yeah, Power Pad. The Power Glove, which was awesome. I don't care what anyone says. As the Wizard would say, Lucas Barton would say, it's so bad. So, they've been doing this stuff for kind of a long time. The old school stuff is kind of forgivable. It's not really relevant to today's conversation about Nintendo being gimmicky because that was a newer time when gaming was brand new and Nintendo was like the only game in town. There was a period, a lot of you, again, maybe too young to have known or remembered this, but there was a period where the word Nintendo was synonymous with the word video games. They were literally the same thing. You wouldn't say, oh, I'm going to go play a video game. You would say, I'm going to go play Nintendo. And it didn't matter if you were turning on your Sega Master System or your Commodore 64 or your IBM computer, you were playing Nintendo. And it was a great time. And, those days are long gone, as they should be. And so today, because of things within the recent couple of cycles with all of, the motion gaming stuff, the Wii Remote, all the Wii Fit board and those peripherals, and then, of course, the Wii U and its gamepad controller, some people think that when it comes to Nintendo, part of the reason they maybe aren't fans of Nintendo and their hardware is that they feel that they are gimmicky, quote unquote. Now, it's a really interesting and sort of find, okay, so it's really a fine line to walk with this conversation, because the idea of them being gimmicky, even as a huge Nintendo fan, I can definitely sort of see the side of that. I mean, really, the things like these are gimmicky. They may not be gimmicks, but I think that they're gimmicky as in they're gimmick-like, if that makes sense. I'm making a really fine little tiny distinction between these words, which may be kind of confusing. So here's the thing. I don't think that the gamepad or the Wii remote, for example, are actual gimmicks. The reason to me they're not actual gimmicks is because they do work, and they work well for the gaming applications they've been used for. When Nintendo makes a game using the Wii remote or the gamepad, or a third-party developer makes a game with those controllers and utilizes their abilities well, they're not gimmicks. They're actually just enhancing your gaming experience the way that they were intended to when Nintendo designed these controllers. So once that happens, once a Wii remote goes from being this novelty-looking remote controller thing with buttons on it to the best way to play a first-person shooter like a Call of Duty or a Metroid Prime game, it's not a gimmick. When you look at it as a remote control and you're playing, what was that Circus Party game or Wii Play, it's a gimmick. And I can understand why people see that stuff and they're like, oh, that's just gimmicky shit, and Nintendo's just gimmicky because they made that. But again, once it actually enhances an actual gaming experience to something more and elevates it beyond just the normal old school controls that you would normally play it as, that goes from gimmicky to not a gimmick. It goes to viable, legitimate, hardcore gaming controller, and an even better one than what you would have had an option otherwise. And I think that that's kind of the key when it comes to Nintendo stuff. So to people who tend to say that they think Nintendo is gimmicky or their controllers and their ideas are gimmicky, I ask you, have you really taken the time to sit down and play and experience what these ideas and hardware pieces can actually do for gaming? And I feel like a lot of people, and I'm not going to call anyone out because anyone listening or, watching or listening may say, oh, I totally know everything about the Wii remote and the gamepad and I've used them a lot and blah, blah, blah. And whether or not that's true, I'm not going to get into it. So maybe you listening might not actually be the person I'm talking about here. But for a lot of people, I feel like all they do is acknowledge and understand the fact that the Wii U has a touchpad controller, and maybe they've seen it or held it for 10 seconds in a Best Buy. And so they now form this opinion, I know and understand everything about the gamepad, how it works and what it does for gaming, and I have now determined it's gimmicky because I saw someone playing a party game in a Best Buy. I saw a 5-year-old playing a party game in a Best Buy, and I recognize and acknowledge that the controller exists, and that's enough for me to say I understand it enough to call it gimmicky. Well, I'm going to call bullshit on that because really that's not how it works. To really understand what Nintendo does, you need to, and this is why I think this is one of the things I love about Nintendo, I should say, is because you can't just see it in a Best Buy and understand it. You can see a PlayStation 4 game in a Best Buy and you understand everything about the system and the game you're looking at. Totally, I get it. And that's great. That's fine. That's what that system is meant for. But with the Wii U, for example, or even when the Wii was out, when you saw that, you can't just really see someone playing a game like that in a Best Buy, in a retail store and understand it enough to really form the kind of opinion that people try to spin out there. What you need to do is sit down on a couch in your living room, in your buddy's living room, holding a Wii U gamepad, playing a game like Pikmin 3 or The Wonderful 101 or Zombie U or the Rayman Legends you're watching right now, and actually immerse yourself in the experience. And then you're going to say, wow, I see what this gamepad does and how it's making this game I'm playing better. If I wasn't playing this game right now with this gamepad, it would be a less good game. Then you will understand that is going to elevate, even in your mind, the gamepad or the Wii remote or the Wii Fit balance board or what have you. Really, I don't really get into the balance board, but you get what I'm saying. It elevates those to something more. It elevates them away from the gimmick status, I can promise you, and it's going to become an actual viable thing, and you are going to understand, wow, I see what Nintendo is doing. I see their purpose. This isn't gimmicky. This is better for gaming. It's making gaming more fun. It's making it more immersive. It's making it unique. It's giving me a way to interact with games that I've never done before. And it's giving me a way to interact with games that the competition, the other guys, aren't really providing to me. Because you can say, with the gamepad specifically, you can say you've done it before. Because we've been doing touchscreen gaming on our mobile devices and our iPads and our phones and stuff like that. So maybe not for consoles, we haven't done it before. But yes, we've done it in the mobile space. Again, looking specifically to consoles, though, and the fact that the competition doesn't provide these experiences, that's when you can say, wow, only Nintendo provides this to me. I can't play God of War with this kind of cool immersive experience. I'm just going to be pressing my buttons to play through God of War. And I love God of War, so I am not making fun of it. Don't be confused what I'm saying here. And I think that that's the difference. And then you'll play something like the new Zelda or Pikmin 3 or what have you, and it's like, whoa, this is way different and way better because of what Nintendo's providing to me. I would like to think that, I can't speak for anybody, and this whole thing is just my own personal opinion as a Nintendo fan. But I would like to think that anybody who maybe is a naysayer or unsure about how Nintendo's ideas really work, that if you were to experience it the way that I just presented to you, that you would probably get it. Most gamers are smart people. That's kind of this fantastic, positive byproduct to being a gamer is a lot of us are, pretty smart, adept, intelligent folk, and we understand things like this. And as soon as we can be presented with the actual facts, we might understand it. Gamers can be really negative and pushy and like standoffish and defensive with zero knowledge. And I think that that's what creates the sort of barrier of, I think Nintendo is gimmicky, because a lot of people who say that, again, aren't playing or experiencing their products enough to really be able to make that claim, but they just say it. And I think that it's really not fair to Nintendo. It's really not fair to yourself as a gamer, because you're not letting yourself experience that side of gaming. You need to experience the product to be able to make that claim. I kind of draw the same parallel with film and movies, and a lot of people who can be harsh on movies before they see them. It's like you can't say that, oh, I hate Harry Potter, because you just see commercials for Harry Potter movies when they come out, but you've never gone to see a Harry Potter movie. You can say, I'm sick of seeing Harry Potter everywhere, but you can't say you hate it until you sit down to watch a goddamn Harry Potter movie. I know it's a weird kind of comparison I'm making, but I think that hopefully the analogy makes sense, And a lot of people do that. Just like you can't say Nintendo's gimmicky, even though I've never held their gimmicky controllers. It doesn't work that way. You have to experience it first. In the same respect, if someone was to sit down and play through Pikmin 3 or Wonderful 101 and say, well, okay, like, honestly, like, this isn't for me, and I don't think that this is very cool, and it still feels gimmicky, even though I may disagree with you, you've at least educated yourself enough to justify your opinion. You now have the right to say you may still feel that it's gimmicky, and I would definitely think you are wrong, but I can't fault you for that, because you at least have gone out of your way to experience it and form the opinion based on facts and education. And that's the way it needs to be. Probably one of the reasons that sparked both of these last two conversations for me is the fact that people and a lot of gamers, as smart as we are, we have this stupid mental roadblock for some reason, a lot of us. And I'm guilty of it too sometimes, and we have this problem where we don't want to educate ourselves before we get all uppity and upset about these different things and make these claims. And, it's too bad. Nintendo does some amazing things. They're the only company out there striving to provide different experiences. And certainly that's not going to appeal to everybody. So it's definitely okay to not be a Nintendo fan, a Wii U fan, or a fan of these, unique controllers and experiences they try to give you. But hey, I mean, at least they're trying to do something different. I would like to think that that counts in the hearts and minds of a lot of people out there. It's obviously not going to, but to me, I think that's the difference maker. Even when they don't succeed, I mean, God damn it, they tried. Sony and Microsoft, who I do very much love, both of those companies and their systems, to be fair, they don't really do that. They just provide like the next step in graphical power, and that's like almost entirely their focus. And they release a lot of really great games. Great games that I am always happy to spend my money on, but they never try to do anything different. They never try to break up, or as Nintendo was putting it, disrupt the organic flow of gaming as it evolves and evolves. They never try to do that. They're just doing the next logical step. Well, the PS3 was this powerful, so we're going to make the PS4 now this powerful. And there you go. That's what they've done. That's how they've stepped up their game. They've done the same thing they've done the last 3 times, basically, And it works for them. It works for the PlayStation brand and the Xbox stuff, and it's great. Microsoft, I'm going to actually give a little bit of credit because they have tried with the Kinect. And I know that seems weird, and a lot of you out there may groan, and I am not a Kinect fan really myself either. But honestly, for the same reasons I stand behind Nintendo trying to do something different and disrupt the flow of gaming, that I have to give Microsoft credit for doing the exact same thing, trying to with the Kinect. I almost feel bad for them because the Kinect has been so poorly received and basically was such a failure, and they've gotten rid of it from the bundle, and I think eventually it's going to go away 100% completely. No one has any interest in it. Honestly, that's probably, excuse me, I would say that has proven to be more gimmicky than anything Nintendo has done, because the Kinect has been proven to not enhance gaming, hence why no one has really gotten into it. Nintendo stuff, the Wii Remote and the Gamepad, has proven to not be gimmicky because it's proven to be better for gaming and people enjoy them for gaming. The Kinect was not the way. Sadly, it really kind of proved to be gimmicky, and it has gone to the wayside. But they tried. Microsoft had a vision. They had an idea of what they wanted to do. They wanted to change the way we interact with our consoles and, the way some people can have us interact with games. And even though I didn't get behind it and a lot of people didn't, the fact that they tried means high five Microsoft, man. You guys are doing what I think more people should be doing. And hopefully the next time you try something like this, I hope you do try something else new again in the future. We want companies to think outside the box like typically only Nintendo does. And I hope that the next time you do, if in fact you do, Microsoft, I hope you do it better. I hope you think up something that no one has thought of before and you implement it perfectly and everyone loves it and gets excited about it, because it can only be good for gaming and good for all of us, the gamer, because we get these new fantastic experiences, we all play with the same controllers and the same ideas and the same games over and over again. We're all used to doing it. So when someone like Nintendo comes out with something unique, we should embrace it. And same with Microsoft when it's something better than the Kinect. We should embrace that stuff. I think it's all a really, really good thing. So I guess the conversation kind of evolved to a little bit beyond what the idea of Nintendo being gimmicky near the end there, but I think the conversation still stands. I see why people maybe think that Nintendo are gimmicky. I disagree vehemently, and I really just hope that if you feel they're gimmicky, that you at least really have spent a lot of time with their games and their systems to make that opinion, or if you haven't, that you cut that out, go out of your way, play Wii U extendedly in a comfortable setting on your couch or something, and really, really understand that controller before making that claim. Nintendo, they at least try. They do really unique things. I don't think they're as gimmicky as some people think. What do you guys think? Do you actually think Nintendo is gimmicky like some people claim? Do you think that they're not and that their vision is stronger than the idea of just a passing fad? What do you guys think? I think that there's a lot of different conversations and a lot of sides that we can all come down on this. Definitely, I want you guys to have a good conversation about this, because who knows? Especially when it comes to the next systems and the next generation, it'll be really interesting to see where people go from there, and more importantly, where Nintendo goes from there. All right, well, that's it for the two-part Nintendo news for today and for this week. A lot of Nintendo conversations. Love having that stuff. Whenever I get a chance to really talk about Nintendo at length, I get really excited. So it was fun to do these and put these videos together. Also, one last shout out to Gamers at Large. Fantastic network. Please, you guys, go and check out Gamers at Large. You can find links on the podcast video I posted earlier today. Subscribe to all those chaps. It's really, really good people and good YouTube content for gaming that you can find through Gamers at Large. So please go and support the network and support everyone involved with it. It's a lot of fun. Great stuff for you guys out there to enjoy on YouTube. And of course, if you like Rule of Two Review and what I'm doing here, then you should please feel free to subscribe to the channel. It helps me out big time. If you like the video, you can like and share your opinions and thoughts about the video below. You can follow the links to the Facebook page and to the Twitter. And that is going to be it for today. So thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, guys, I will catch you on the next video.